So I've been thinking about how, I should do a reading vlog soon, but I have to wait till like I'm reading the right books for a reading vlog or something. And then I thought, what if I just start one? What if I just start one? I'm in the middle of two books, but what if I just start one right now? So I'm not going back to regular reading vlogs. I can never go back to that. I actually have no idea how I ever accomplished that in the first place. I think the answer is I didn't work full time, but I am doing a reading vlog and I plan on doing them sporadically. But basically, the theme of this one is reading to get out of my reading slump. I've been in a really bad reading slump. In the month of May, I only read audiobooks, which is not, there's nothing wrong with that, but I only read like 4 audiobooks, all from the same series, and they were all cozy mysteries. And reading is reading, don't get me wrong, but like I'd like to make some headway, and I'm still so behind on my Goodreads goals. So anyway, let's just jump into it. Let's talk about what I'm reading. So first off, I'm reading Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Is this the book that's gonna drag me out of my reading slump? No. But I'm reading it for a book club and I am enjoying it. And it is a reread. I caught the ebook on my phone, or like on the library app, and that's making a big difference. I don't know what the science is there, but reading sometimes electronically is just so much better than reading on paper. It just feels faster, it feels more motivating, so I think I'm gonna stick with that. Then the other book I'm reading, I am on the 10th or 11th book in my cozy mystery series that I mentioned a minute ago. I am reading, I don't know the title of it, so I'll update you more when I finish that book. I have like an hour and a half left. I'm having a great time, but it's the Vampire Knitting Club series. Because I've been reading them back to back to back, I can't remember the title of the one I'm on currently, but I love them so much. In fact, I love them so much. My plan is after I finish Red Queen, because I don't want to pick up like multiple ebooks at once, because I think it'll just make this reading slump worse. After I'm done with Red Queen, I'm going to pick up a vampire romance that my lovely friend Ava recommended, because sometimes I just text her and say, do you have a recommendation for this, this, and this? And she always comes up with answers. So she's like my own little Google friend sometimes. So I think that'll be the thing that I pick up after this. Can I remember the title or the author of the book she recommended currently? No. And then tonight, so fun fact about me, I work night shift, and the night before I go on for my 3 shifts, I will stay up really, really late, so it's easier for me to sleep during the day. So all my years of staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning on Tumblr in high school really paid off. But anyway, tonight is that night. I'll be staying up late, so I'm going to, I think, read this Spider-Gwen comic, Spider-Man Spider-Gwen, because 1, this cover, 2, I just saw the sequel to Spider-Verse, and if you don't know this about me, actually, so just a little background. Miles Morales is my favorite comic book character of all time, period. I love him. I've read almost every single one of his comics. Haven't read this yet. This is a crossover though. But I've read the omnibus, which I've never actually figured out if that's how I say it, if that's correct. But I read that. That was over 1,000 pages. I've read so many of his comics. I love him. I love his story. I love the characters surrounding him. I like the adventures he goes on. And then furthermore, I love the Spider-Verse movie. It's so unique. It's so amazing. The soundtrack, Sunflower from that soundtrack is like top 3 songs of all time for me. I mean Taylor Swift, but you know what I mean. I love it. So I went and saw the sequel tonight. It is part 1. There is a part 2 coming of this story. So it did end on a cliffhanger, but I had such a great time. It was amazing. I will say our movie theater sound wasn't really working very well, so that kind of ruined the vibe. So I think I'm gonna go see it in IMAX next week. But the animation was beautiful. The evolution of Miles' story alongside Gwen's story and how they're really diverging, and then the introduction of Oscar Isaac's character, of like the continuation of the Peter Parker we met in the first movie. It was all just amazing. So I thought this, it seemed like a perfect time to read this tonight. So, and comics usually just take me one sitting. And oh, look at that alt cover. I love it. Anyway, also, if you've seen the Spider-Verse movie, this isn't a spoiler, but so I've read all of these Spider-Gwen comics that are advertised here in the back, and they explore more of Gwen Stacy's story in the movie. That's not a spoiler. And they match these comics, like the art style and the vibes, so perfectly in the movie. It's actually insane. So that is my little update from there. So when I have actually read something, I'll let you know. I'm hoping to read that tonight and then hopefully get some of Red Queen done. I am almost delusional enough to say, oh, maybe I'll finish it, but let's be real, that's probably not going to happen. I feel like I've been reading Red Queen for, it's been a while. It's been like 3 weeks, so I really need to kick it up to speed. So I'm hoping the ebook thing will really make an improvement. So that is my reading update, and I will see you guys next time I update, probably after I work, to be honest. So in like 4 days. Hello, a reading vlog update. It is a couple days later. I worked, well, I did 2 shifts and then got put on standby for my 3rd shift, and then they called me in at like 2 in the morning to the ED, which sucked. But anyway, reading update. In that time, didn't do a whole lot of reading. I did finish my audiobook, Herringbone Hexes by, oh, I don't know the author's name, but it's part of the Vampire Knitting Club series. It's number 12. I can't believe I've read 12 books of that series, but I adore it so much, and I think this has been my favorite one so far. The mystery was really good. It did have kind of a, not my favorite trope in a mystery of like wrong place, wrong time. I kind of like it when it's like a calculated murder. That sounds bad, but you know, in a book it makes it more interesting. But character development wise, I loved this one. If you don't know anything about the series, I'll give you a quick rundown. It is about a girl, Lucy, who moves to Oxford. She's American, and she moves to Oxford because she was going to visit her grandma. She gets there and finds out her grandma has passed away, and her grandma left her the knitting shop that she runs in Oxford, and then she finds out her grandma's not actually dead, she's actually undead. She got turned into a vampire, and that's when she discovers there's a nest of vampires living under her knitting shop because, you know, why not? And also she finds out that she is a witch and her mom never told her. So it is so much fun. They get into so much trouble solving mysteries around Oxford. I love this setting. I love the vibes. I love the characters. The cast of the vampires is so entertaining. They're all so funny. Rafe is her love interest, and there's some really good developments in book number 12. I love it. I'm so excited. He's a really fun character. He reminds me a lot of, I can't think of his name, but the guy in A Discovery of Witches, that vampire, they are very, very similar. And I love that because, oh, Matthew. His name is Matthew in A Discovery of Witches. I should read those, the last one. Anyway, and then we've got a lady from like the 1800s who still dresses like that and acts like that. She's super chatty. She's hilarious. We've got a rich, like silent film star. We have the grandma. We have a moody teenager who was turned into a vampire. It's just a whole fun thing. So yeah, that was book number 12. I've moved on to book number 13. I can't remember the title of it. I haven't started it yet. As for the Red Queen, haven't read hardly any of it. Actually, I don't think I've read any of it, but that's what I'm going to do today. But I also read this, Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen Sitting in a Tree. This is a little team up of Miles and Gwen trying to save Miles' dad. And they, you know, hop across a couple different dimensions looking for him. And it was just so fun. I love these characters. These are probably, like, these are top 5 characters in the Marvel Universe for me. If I'm listing top 5 characters, Wanda Maximoff, probably Miles, and then Moon Knight, and then Gwen, and then Wiccan, if we're listing characters. Anyway, so I had a lot of fun with this one. I really liked seeing the alternate dimension that they visited. I really liked the one where there is one where Gwen and Miles are like married and they're like super famous superheroes. That was a really entertaining one. And Gwen met
that version of Gwen and Miles' kids, which was really funny. But yeah, it was a fun little team up, and I love the art in this one. Michael Bendis is, I don't remember if that's his first name, Brian Michael Bendis. He's one of my favorite comic writers, so this was a lot of fun. I'm really excited. He wrote the long, like the whole Miles story, which I have read, and I might have just ordered volume 1 on eBay for an undisclosed amount of money. So I'm going to try and read some of Red Queen today. I know I shouldn't have to try so hard to read my book, but this one is for a book club, and I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it when I'm actually reading it, but getting there, like actually opening the book, has been really challenging. So I did, like I said, I rented the ebook, so hopefully that'll go a little better. But I'm going to do some YouTube editing and then hopefully get some reading done today. And then I'm going to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I even have my Guardians shirt on, so. Hello, a reading vlog update. I have just finished Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, so now I'm only 5 books behind on my Goodreads goal, which is honestly the lowest number that's been in a long time. I liked Red Queen. I didn't love it. I think it was written in 2014. That's that. But it was still really good. It just used some tropes that I won't say because they're a spoiler that I don't like. I loved the love triangle. That was fun for a little bit, but there are some other tropes in there that just like aren't my vibe. They never have been. I'm like, they're never going to be. But anyway, it was fun, and my book club has decided we're just going to read the sequel for our next book club. So once everyone's done with the first one, we'll move on to that, which is good for me because I've had these books on my shelf for a long time, and I haven't ever read them. So I'm getting books done. Speaking of getting books done, this isn't even on my shelf, but I kind of wanted like a quick, fast-paced, like palate cleanser book to read next. So this is Blood Moon by Gillian Graves. It is a novella. Look at the cover, my God. That Ava recommended to me. So I'm going to read this. It's only 100 pages, so I'm probably going to read the whole thing today. Might fall asleep for a nap. We'll see. But it is a witch and a vampire romance. So yeah, I'm excited to give it a try. I've never read Gillian before. What's her last name? I already forgot. Gillian Graves, but I have heard of her. This is a novella that's part of another series. I just don't know anything about that series. She did have a content warning, just in case you want to pick this up. Content warning for mild violence, blood and sex under the magical influence. Main characters engage in a consensual power exchange. The relationship is not meant to depict real life practices. For more information, you can go to her website. So if you happen to want to pick this up, just FYI. But yeah, I thought I'd give this a try. I haven't read, actually, I don't know if I've ever read a paranormal romance. And basically, I don't know if I said this in the vlog already, but I had asked Ava, because I know she's read quite a few paranormal romances, if she had any recommendations that are like paranormal romance, but like cozier, because I feel like a lot of the times I've looked up recommendations wanting to get into paranormal romance, and it's always like they just tend to be darker romances, and that's not really my vibe. There are some others that are on my list, and even some that I have bought and that are on my shelf, like Not the Witch You Wed or something like that, some title like that. It's like the cartoony cover, which I don't love the cartoon covers, but I would like to get into paranormal romance, but I don't necessarily want the darkness that comes with that. I just want like a cutesy little, like it's almost like a contemporary romance. You're just, thrown in vampires or something. So I'm gonna read this, and I hope I'll just read the whole thing today, and I'll let you know what I think. I don't know when or how long this vlog is going to be, when I'll stop. Basically till I feel like I'm out of my reading slump is kind of my goal, and I'm hoping reading a little novella will definitely help with that. Hello, another reading update from the only place in the house that has good lighting. I finished, I can't remember the name of it, Blood Moon. I finished that last night. It was a little novella. It was good. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I liked the characters. I think for a novella it was good. And obviously novellas are always kind of rated on a different scale, just because of the length. Obviously there's less time for development. It just had like not my favorite trope in the world, which is like that like instant lust. The first Ice Planet Barbarians has a very similar like concept in the beginning, and I just don't love that. I need like, even in a novella, you can like form a connection to begin with before like jumping straight into everything else. So my hair's looking a little rough today. But anyway, I finished that last night, and you know what? Got me one book closer to my Goodreads goal. So I gave it, I think, 3.5 stars. I think I gave it 4 on Goodreads, but I would rate it like 3.5, 4. I liked it, didn't love it. Next, I think part of it is I wasn't actually in that big of a mood for a romance book. I don't know, like there might be one that I still like turn to, but either way, right now what I'm going to do is read Arch Enemies. I keep wanting to say Arch Nemesis, like I just insert that letter in there, but so this is the second book in the Renegades trilogy, and my plan is to try and get into this. Now, I will say Renegades took me a little while to get into, but I'm hoping because the world is now established in my brain, I'll be able to get into this pretty easily. I also, like, if I can't get into it, I have some graphic novels picked out as well. I have a Moon Knight one, an Avatar one, and then the Lore and Olympus graphic novel, all of which I do want to read and might actually read fairly soon, because I think I'm only 4 books behind on my Goodreads goal, so if I read all 3 of those, I'd get there. But for now, I'm going to start this. I do think I'm going to maybe read this on ebook, even though I clearly own the physical copy. I own it on Kindle as well, and I don't know, there's just something about reading on Kindle that's so much faster. I don't know what it is. So I feel like I'm probably gonna just read it on my iPad for a little while. I have a Kindle too, obviously. Do I know where it is? No. So I think I might start it on my iPad. We'll see. Plus, I love the font Marissa Meyer uses in her books. It's the same in the Lunar Chronicles, but it's a really small font at the same time. I do love this book. And the other reason for like choosing this series, one, I'm in a big superhero mood, superhero story. The other reason is like in my head, I desperately wish it was winter. It's June, so it's not winter clearly, and it won't be for a while. But I read the first one when I was on a little staycation to like a snowy cabin. So in my head, it's like very wintry. So yeah, that's why I chose this. I'm hoping maybe this summer we can do like a little cabin retreat and just read. Obviously it won't be snowing, but anyway, that's my plan for reading. Again, I don't know how long I'm going to do this vlog. I think I'm just going to keep doing it until I don't feel like doing it anymore. So I'll update you when I'm a little bit into this. Hello, a reading update. My hair is a little messy. Anyway, I think I'm going to do a little update of where I am and then close out this reading vlog. I finished Ribbing and Runes, which is the 13th book in the Vampire Knitting Club series, and I loved it so much. I feel like when I finished, did I talk about this book already? I can't remember, but I feel like with each book I'm saying, oh, this one's my favorite one, and they just keep getting better. But this one was really like my top one so far, though I do see that the 14th one could top that. But yeah, it was so much fun. The mystery was so good, very high stakes. I like the solution to like what could happen after this series that this book presented, which if you've read it, that might make sense. And then I have gotten like 20%, don't mind my cat moving the curtains. I got like 20% into Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer. I am enjoying that one so far. I'm not far enough in. There's not really been too much happening yet. But I'm surprised by how easy it is to like fall back into these characters.
especially considering the first time when I read Renegades, it was a hard book for me to get into just because there was so much like world building and like trying to get used to everyone's powers and get connected to these characters. So I'm glad that this time with the sequel, it's much easier to just kind of fall into it. So I am really enjoying it so far. Like I said, nothing's happened. They did introduce this idea of Agent N, which is very much giving X-Men vibes. I can't remember which X-Men movie has this idea, because I've only watched the X-Men movies once and they're, you know, not great. But in one of them, they introduced this same exact concept, that there is a like formula, like some medicine basically that could reverse the X gene or reverse your superpowers, which is a very, very interesting concept. And I am very excited to see the conflict that this is going to create, because there are going to be people who support it and there are going to be people who don't. And I think in the book, I'm already seeing who is for it, who's questioning it. Even within their own team, like with Adrian and Nova and everyone, even within this team, I already kind of see a split happening. Very, you know, Captain America Civil War, which I love. Oh, there's little birds outside. Anyway, it's such an interesting story, but I think it is also going to be really hard to read, because you know, hey, when Civil War came out, I was on Captain America's team, and in this one, I am very against the idea of them using Agent N on people without their consent. And if it's interesting, I think she wrote this series inspired by the X-Men. Like, her love of the X-Men is what inspired this series. And like I said, I can't remember which X-Men movie this is. I think it'll be interesting to see if anyone wants to willingly take the Agent N's like medicine, because in X-Men there's characters like Rogue, who she wanted to take it because she's tired of killing everyone that she touches, and in that vein, it's warranted to want that, but she was choosing that. And so far it was just introduced in Arch Enemies, so there aren't many characters that I think that would necessarily apply to, other than maybe Max, but I don't know if it would work on Max because Max was used to develop it. So, but yeah, it's just very interesting. I'm very much in the superhero mode still, so I'm excited to keep reading this. But like I said, I think I'm going to close out this reading vlog just because it's getting really long. But I think I'm just going to do another reading vlog after this, so I will show finishing this book, I believe. I always get stuck in my head that I either A, have to vlog every week, or B, it has to be like a themed reading vlog of like, I read this series or I read this author or whatever it is. There is a wasp outside now. That is not as cute as the bird. But I think I just need to kind of, I'm just gonna vlog when I want to vlog. And I am in a vlogging mood, and I think it's helping me kind of want to be a little more motivated to read. So that is the plan, but I don't want this video to be like 45 minutes long. So I'm gonna close out this one. I upload content when I upload it, Disney and booktube content. Either way, I hope you enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye. Past or future Spirit, who was like adding that clip into the vlog, realized I didn't even mention the new audiobook that I started, so I'm just inserting this here. If you care, I started another cozy mystery series. This first one is called Live and Let Chai. It is a girl who owns a knitting shop. I wanted to say knitting shop because that's the last 13 books that I've read. She owns a tea shop, and I thought I was getting into like a cozy, like warm tea shop, but this is actually like a Southern Belle iced tea shop, and which honestly fits better for me, because if I'm gonna drink tea, it's gonna be like Southern iced tea. It's not like British warm, like hot tea, because I think that's gross, but I do like sweet tea. So it's this girl who just moved back home to this small island off of North Carolina. Didn't know there were islands off of North Carolina. This is new information to me. And so it's a very small beach town. It's a lot of like touristy stuff, but then there are the locals there, which is a trope that happens a lot in Cozy Mysteries, of where it's like the locals that live in a touristy town and all the murders that they solve. But someone was poisoned by her tea, and so the police are like, well, it's your tea, did you do it? And you were seen arguing that day. And she's like, no, I didn't do it. And so she's trying to solve who did it, and the detective is obviously an attractive young man. So I am very interested to keep going with this series. I think I saw it recommended on I can't think of her name. I want to say her first name's Hannah, but that could be completely wrong. I will link the video below that I saw it recommended in, because it was a video of like cozy series for romance readers, because I love cozy mysteries, but I like them to still have a little bit element of romance, and a lot of them do. So yeah, that is the next series I'll be reading. I thought it'd be a perfect little summer series. I will be picking up the 14th Vampire Knitting Club. Honestly, probably today or tomorrow, but you'll see that all in the next vlog. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!